Hello everybody, my name is Kyle. Welcome back to my channel, and today I wanted to talk about the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Specifically the demo that was released like a week or so ago. I can't even fucking remember, but I played it today, and I have some thoughts, and I wanted to talk about my thoughts on the demo itself and just on the game in general, the remake in general, because there's a couple of things about the remake that I'm a little wishy-washy on, and I'm not so certain I'm gonna spend my money on this game right now, but I'll get to that in a bit. So first of all, what I'd like to talk about today was kind of everything that's changed in the last couple of months for me and globally what's happening right now. So obviously the last video I uploaded was my Ori and the Blind Forest kind of review, Kyle's collection thing, and that was actually filmed back in October, November when I was still living at my dad's house, and I moved since then into this new room. And if you've watched my streams recently in the past couple of months, you've seen my new setup, you've seen everything. But if you haven't, welcome. This is my new place. I moved again and I'm here now. So this is kind of the new area I'm in. A lot of stuff has happened. If you want to know all about that, I can make a separate video kind of delving into everything that happened in my move. But the gist is I live here now. I've been here for about 3 months, and this is my new setup. So and I actually have everything kind of set up in a way that I can actually start recording and getting things back in order for YouTube videos and the like. The second order of business is obviously globally what's happening right now is we're facing a pandemic. Everyone's being told to practice social distancing, not to go out unless it's completely necessary, staying 6 feet away from people if you do go out, not going to crowded areas. Where I live right now, schools are closed for the next month, bars and restaurants are being closed as of like a couple hours ago. So the job that I did have where I wasn't even on the schedule, I wouldn't be working it right now anyway because nobody's allowed to go out and eat. So there's just a lot going on right now, and there's a lot to think about. If there's anything, like anybody out there, if you're worried, if you're suffering from anxiety and everything, do what you can to, prevent the spread of everything. Read up online. There's plenty of resources out there that tell you what to do, what social distancing means, what you can do to help stop the spread of this virus and make it easier for the hospitals and the hospital workers to actually take in what's going to be happening in the upcoming weeks and months. I am lucky enough that I don't have to go in, but I also am unlucky enough that it means I don't have an income right now. So we're gonna see where things kind of go in the next month or so. Hopefully I'll just make a shit ton of YouTube videos and stream a lot, and it'll be great, and I'll have a lot of content in the next month. So just look out for that. So with all of that out of the way, the move, coronavirus, stay safe. I hope everybody's, doing the best they can, and gosh, it's just some stressful times, some pretty fucked up times we're living in right now, I gotta say. Let's talk about the Final Fantasy VII Remake. And the first thing I wanted to talk about with the Final Fantasy VII Remake is just the weird kind of like media stuff that's been going on around it. Like, they're like, hey, the Final Fantasy VII Remake comes out on April 10th. Everyone's excited and blah, blah, blah. And not a lot of people know that the Final Fantasy VII Remake, this is only part one. It's only part one. I was actually talking to my friend, my buddy, Joel, and I was talking, I'm like, yeah, this is only part one that's coming out in April. It's not even like the full game is being released. It's literally just part one. And they've said they're already working on part two. I mean, thank fucking God. But not a lot of people are talking about the fact that this is just part one of how many ever parts. We don't know how many parts they're gonna make it. And what it seems like from their website, I'm actually gonna pull this up right now and read it. It seems like this first part is only going to be like what's happening in Midgar, or like from when you start in Midgar until when you end in Midgar. So hold on, I'm gonna look this up real quick, and I want to read like actual what they're saying from the website. In the sprawling city of Midgar, an anti-Shinrock organization calling themselves Avalanche have stepped up their resistance. Cloud Strife, a former member of Shinra's elite soldier unit now turned mercenary, lends his aid to the group, unaware of the epic consequences that await him. Yes, and then so this is the part that gets me. A spectacular reimagining of one of the most visionary games ever. The first game in this project will be set in the eclectic city of Midgar and presents a fully standalone gaming experience. It's $60. You're paying $60 for part 1 of this remake. So this is where my problems with the remake kind of stem from, is that they're going to be charging $60 for the first part in this game. And now they're saying it's going to be a completely standalone gaming experience. It's going to feel like a full game for part 1. And all it's going to do is be taking place in Midgar. And anyone who's familiar enough with the first game, I've never beaten Final Fantasy VII. I know I'm going to get a bunch of shit for that, but I haven't, so I'm just putting it out there. I have played through the first disc, and I do know that the Midgar portion isn't the entire first disc. That's like maybe a third of it. From what I remember, I just played it back in November, so my, October, November. My memory isn't that bad. So I'm just a little confused how many parts they plan on making this, how long it's gonna take for them to actually release the full remake, and how many people actually know that this is just part 1. Joel didn't know. I had to tell him. He was like, oh crap, I didn't realize this was just part 1, and they're still charging $60. So by the end of this, let's assume that they're giving you half of disc 1. There's 3 discs in the original. Now again, I haven't beaten it, so I don't know if disc 3 contains less content overall than disc 2 or disc 1, or how they are proportioned, but let's assume that they give you about half of a disc's worth every part that they release. That would still mean that you're getting 6 parts, which at $60 a piece, that's $360. That's $360 fucking dollars that you're gonna be spending on one remake of one game. That just seems a little shady to me, and it's part of the reason why I'm just very apprehensive about actually purchasing this remake and getting even part 1, because I don't know how, and then maybe they won't go based off of the discs. Maybe they'll make part 2 go like halfway through disc 2, so you're actually getting a whole bunch of fucking content. I just don't know that they can make that much content worth, like $60 worth of content from the small amount of the game that they're actually pulling from the original game. And also, like, they released it as a full game originally, so why are they now gonna break it into like episodic bits and still charge you for a full game price? I think that if they were releasing it as episodic content, it should be a little bit cheaper than a full game. I know, they're saying it's gonna be a full standalone experience, but I don't know how they're gonna fucking do it. It just blows my mind that they're still going to do this, and I'm just trying to get that out there and let you guys know that that's kind of my first thoughts of the Final Fantasy VII Remake, and that was prior to playing the demo. Now today, I did finally sit down, and I was like, you know what, there's a demo out, maybe I'll play this demo and it will change my mind a little bit. And I wanted to talk about the demo, just kind of go over it a little bit and how like the changes from the original, having just played the original, and how I feel now going into the remake, having played this hour-ish long demo. So to start off, the demo begins literally from the beginning of the game, just how the original Final Fantasy VII starts. It shows you Aerith walking down the alley and has some nice, like, fucking ambient music, the opening song from Final Fantasy VII, and you get that feeling, and I immediately was like, okay, this feels good, because I have played the beginning of the game like 4 or 5 times, so I was like, this is nice, and it just, obviously the first thing that hit me was, this game looks fucking great. They did a great job of just attention to detail. Aerith looks fucking cute as hell, and really, really freaking detailed. I think my first words when I started playing was like, damn, this game looks fucking good. I couldn't help but say, like, they did a great job with this graphical upgrade and remaking it to look, modern. So A+ on that. Square Enix, you did a great job making the fucking game look really great, and just a huge upgrade from the original visuals. Obviously, anything from the original PlayStation 1, it's gonna look a lot fucking better now. So the first thing that strikes you is the graphics, and the music are fucking just way better. They've remade those, they look great, but it hits you with that feeling, and it does that pull-out shot and shows you Midgar and goes, here's the demo, have fun. And then the train comes in, and you're like, oh yeah, we're gonna see Cloud and Barret and all of our friends, and you get to do the first mission in the game. You get to do the Mako reactor. They let you play through all of that. What I really want to focus on is the changes that they've made from the gameplay in the original to this remake. So when you start off, it does allow you to pick what kind of mode you want to play in, if you want to play classic or easy or normal. And the classic mode, it says if you want to stick more with commands, stick with classic mode. So I'm assuming that that's a more turn-based or sticking more with the command list sort of feel than if you went with the normal modernized version. But I wanted to test out what they did to change the gameplay, so I just picked normal. I figured that was going to be a good enough experience for me. Obviously, the biggest difference is that there's not a turn-based system anymore, and like there's not an active time battle in the same sense that there was in the original Final Fantasy VII. Instead, you go into a battle more like in the vein of Kingdom Hearts and what I assume they did with Final Fantasy XV. I haven't played it, so if this isn't anything like Final Fantasy XV, let me know, but from what I saw, it looked very similar. You go in, it's a real-time battle, you run around, you control your character in a 3D, environment, and you have to hit square to attack. You can dodge with hitting circle, you can block by holding R1, and every time you attack, those attacks allow your gauge to fill up. And then when your gauge fills up, you can hit X to enter your command list, which gives you abilities, magic, and items. So the more you attack, the more you have ATB, then you can use your items, potions to heal, aethers to give you magic, you can use your spells to attack, or you can use abilities like Braver to on enemies that are in the field. So it's a little bit different, but it actually works in a really good way. It's taking one of the original mechanics and adding it to this more modern style of game, which I kind of actually enjoyed. It wasn't as jarring as I originally thought it was going to be. I was like, I can't believe they're changing the battle system. Everyone's gonna fucking hate that, but I didn't hate that. I also am a huge fan of Kingdom Hearts. I don't know if you guys could tell from my mug right here. I'm a huge fan of Kingdom Hearts. So the fact that it plays like one of my favorite games wasn't a big deal to me. On top of the fact that there's no turn-based system and the ATB gauge works very differently, they also have a special type of thing that you can do. Each character uses triangle to do something different. You only have access to 2 characters, playable characters in the demo, Cloud and Barret. And Cloud's triangle is a mode switch, kind of like a stance switch almost, where you can go from a balanced like attack and defense to a slower attack that does more damage, and it's less balanced of a mode. Of course, if you dodge or block an attack in that mode that isn't close by or something, it switches you back to your operator mode, which is the balanced mode. So you could switch back and forth pretty freely with that. And then Barret has a special called Overcharge, which just blasts the opponent like 3 times, 2-3 times, does a lot of damage. Then you have to wait for that to charge back up as you're walking around. You can hit triangle again and it charges it faster. It gets the gauge to go up faster so you can use it more times. That's a pretty interesting thing to do as opposed to having like the turn-based stuff and having all these different things. They opted to have a special that you could use, and I kind of like that. And the dodging, you can dodge around with circle like a lot like in Kingdom Hearts. So the battle system was pretty fun. They also have the limits. They didn't introduce the limits until the boss fight when you're fighting the Sentinel Scorpion. Yeah, the limits are there. Everything's there from the original, just in a different sense. It's just kind of within a different menu, and it plays a lot more like a modern Square Enix game than a classic turn-based game. Another thing that's different about the battle system is that they do have different environmental things that are happening. So in the original, you just had your, the enemies showed up and you could attack them wherever they were at. Now, because you actually are fighting in a 3D environment and you have everything working around you, Cloud can't attack guns that are up on a thing, so Barret has to use his gun to do long-range attacks. So there's a little bit more of a balance there, having to switch between the characters. It gives you a reason to switch in battle to actually go from Barret to Cloud, which you do by hitting the D-pad, and then you can use whoever you want to target the right thing. And there's all sorts of things that are classic now in new games, like using R3 to lock on, using R1 to guard, all that kind of stuff. It's all going on here. You have all these different options. I'm gonna show a little bit of the gameplay while I'm talking about this, so hopefully anything that I don't cover you'll kind of see here while I'm sitting here talking about it. The battle with the Sentinel Scorpion is a little bit different, not being a turn-based battle. When used as a laser, you actually have to find cover behind some of the debris that drops down in the Mako reactor and just stay behind it until the laser goes, and then you can go in and attack. I didn't seem to have too much trouble fighting the Sentinel Scorpion, but at the same time, I wasn't really sure what was going on a lot of the time because it's so different than the original. There's so many different things going on. You can swap between characters. There's missiles flying all over the place. Because it's not turn-based, you're doing a lot more and having to pay attention to a lot more. So it feels a lot more intense, and it's like, holy crap, what's gonna happen? I don't know. It was really cool. I actually really enjoyed the cinematic feel that they gave to it and everything. It still felt a lot like the original battle, but in a different way. And then the escape from the Mako reactor is very similar, running through and having to go before the bomb blows up. And then you get the final cutscene, and the Mako reactor blows up, and everybody in Midgar's like, holy shit, the fucking thing blew up. What's going on? And then you get the final thing, and it goes Final Fantasy VII Remake, and it shows you a bunch of shit that's going to be in part 1 of the remake, and to kind of entice you to buy it. And then it gives you a splash screen that says, buy now, which version do you want to purchase? Which, you know, fuck you, Square Enix. That actually got me. I mean, if you're getting the demo, I understand. They're like, hey, you got the demo, you probably want to get the full game. But still, it's like, hey, here you go, spend $60 on this part 1. So aside from all of the battle gameplay mechanics that they changed, there's a little bit of outside stuff when you're going around in the world. You can actually smash crates to get small MP, HP, you know, increases. There's puzzles throughout the world that were not in the original. Like, there's a little laser puzzle in this demo where you have to run through lasers and not, you know, like watch the pattern and not run into them. So little just kind of things to make it, again, feel more modern. And I'm not gonna lie, they did a really good job changing the gameplay to feel more modern without completely erasing the feel that you got from the original. The fact that they have the, you know, the original music, but just updated and sounds so good, and they just did a great job updating the graphics. The voice acting is on point with everything going on in here. Just honestly, I was actually really impressed by the demo. Was I impressed enough that I'm going to go out and spend $60 on what's probably going to be a 5 to 6 part thing, and they're gonna ask me for $60 for every fucking part of it? No, I don't think that this changed my opinion on that. I'll still probably just watch somebody play it or wait until it goes on sale as a full fucking thing. But I don't know. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to be completely turned off of it because it was going to change the base like feel of the game completely, but it didn't actually turn me off as much as I thought. It actually kind of got me intrigued to see what they're going to do with it. I just wish it wasn't going to be $60, and that still kind of irks me that they're releasing it episodically and charging a full game amount for just one part of this remake. And I think that that it's a little money grubby, it's a little shitty of a thing to do, but I also understand that there's a lot of fans out there that are going to buy this game regardless, and that it does take a lot of time and a lot of effort to make something look this good and feel this good and play this well. And so I'm like on the fence about it right now. I wish it was cheaper. I wish it didn't seem like such a shady practice to do this. Even if it was only $30 for one part, I feel like I would feel a little bit better about it than it being a full $60 purchase, because I feel like there's games out there that are cheaper that are gonna give you a more experience, and I like playtime isn't what I'm talking about. I mean a full experience of a game. And I feel like something like Celeste, that's like a $20 game, is gonna give me the same full experience or something similar to that I would feel from buying $60 on this remake of a game. Not to mention that there's been multiple remakes where they've released like, you know, 3 or 2 games for like, you know, $40 for the entire thing, or $30, like Spyro and Crash Bandicoot and stuff. So I'm not gonna get into that, but that's a whole, I can make a whole other video on that whole stuff. But basically my main points today were, I just wanted to talk about the remake and the demo, and the demo's good. You know, play the demo. If you haven't played the demo, the game doesn't come out until April 10th, so you have plenty of time to play the demo. Play it a couple of times. If you want to play the classic mode, I'm probably going to do that. some other time. First impressions of this demo, of this remake, are they've done a really good job of updating a game that came out, what, 90, when did this come out? 97, I think. I mean, like, they did a really good job of making a game that came out that long ago look and feel modern while also preserving that original feel. Hopefully I'll be able to edit this all together into something that makes some sort of sense. If I can't, then you'll know, because I won't upload a video. So actually you won't know. So there you have it. That's my thoughts on the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo. I want to know what you guys think. Do you think that they did a good job kind of updating it? Are you excited for the remake coming out? Or are you on kind of a little wishy-washy on spending $60 on the first part of what could be a 5 to 6 part, remake? Just let me know. I'd love to read your comments down below, and look forward to some more videos here on the YouTube channel, because I'm gonna hopefully be doing more of these kind of just sitting here or talking about shit type of videos, because I don't know really what else I'm gonna do in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, just let me know what you want. If you like what you see, you can subscribe, you can, do whatever, like the video, leave a comment, and I guess I'm just gonna try to end this as quickly as possible and say I'll see you next time. So thanks for watching. I'll see you around. I've been Kai Will. Bye. Holy shit. I can't end a video to save my fucking soul, guys. This is terrible. All right, we're gonna be done.